It all kicks off with our MC firing his gun without a second thought. The shot lands square in the chest of a suit, and Tai named Cao. Just like that, the dead boss's goons freak out and start unloading on the shooter. With no way out, our MC ends up getting riddled with bullets. Lying there and bleeding out, he reflects that the one fair thing in the world is that everyone only gets one life, and smirks that Cao Shu never expected to get taken out by his hands. Staring at his enemy's body, he notes that having a massive fortune doesn't do you any good when it can't save your skin in the end. Reaching out with a bloody hand, he feels a pang of regret for his parents and curses the cruel hand fate dealt him, making him lose so much. But his will to live is screaming, and he refuses to just lie down and accept this ending. As he falls into a dark abyss, the young man yells with all his might that he's not giving up. Suddenly, his eyes fly open in pure shock. MC jolts awake, panting heavily in his own bed. Checking himself over, he's baffled to find he's in one piece, since he clearly remembers being taken down by the bodyguards. Looking around, he recognizes his old room from his student days and wonders if he somehow got reborn in the past. His attention is immediately grabbed by a poster on the wall for a virtual reality game called Conviction. That's when it finally clicks. The game's servers have just launched, meaning he really has gone back in time. Holding a picture frame, he confirms his name is Nian. The photo shows him with his parents during a happy moment from the past. He remembers clearly that, back then, his family made a living trading metallic plutonium on the border. The business brought in so much cash that his father opened a metallurgy company, and they got rich fast. However, the good times didn't last, as they attracted the greed of major financial groups and were betrayed. With the company bankrupt, his father couldn't handle the pressure, took poison, and passed away in a deep depression. With no one left to turn to, Nian recalls that the only way out he saw was that kamikaze attack to take Cao Zhu down with him. Since the heavens have given him a second chance, he swears he won't lose anything ever again. Knowing the game Conviction is about to change the world, he focuses on the fact that he was once a level 180 master thief. Checking his phone, he sees the date and realizes the game has only been out for 7 days, concluding he has plenty of time. Since the top players are probably only around level 10 right now, he's confident his future knowledge is more than enough to blow past everyone. Racking his brain, he realizes he has the exact amount of money saved up to buy the game's lowest tier helmet. As he pulls on a shirt, he makes a silent vow that his enemy will pay dearly and face utter ruin. With that, the young man bolts out of his house, completely focused on changing his own destiny. Night falls over the city as he sets out to put his plan into action. Holding the helmet, he knows he's late to the party, but he's confident he'll crush the competition and rise to the top. Without wasting another second, the young man puts the gear on his head. The system boots up Conviction and prompts the player to choose their nation from the massive world map. The first option is the Greenland Empire, a human-dominated civilization led by a council. Next up is the Saturn Empire, formed by a grand alliance of beastmen, dwarves, and elves. There's also the Dark Faction, made up of demon and undead tribes living under a dictatorship. For those who prefer neutrality, there's the option to join the massive tribe of giants. But Nian decides to follow the same path as his past life, and chooses the Wind Thief class from the human faction. The system confirms his choice as his avatar is generated in a brilliant flash of light. On the registration screen, he uses his real name to christen his character. With everything set, a success message pops up on the panel, and he's transferred into the game. The newbie materializes right in the middle of the bustling central plaza of Carol City. Looking at his own hand and his zeroed-out stats, he feels a wave of nostalgia to be back in this virtual body. Right off the bat, he dumps his starting points into strength and agility, making sure he doesn't mess up his build this time. Walking through the city, he spots the teleportation point that sends players to various other regions. Strolling through the commercial district, he remembers that a different village sells a much better and cheaper starter dagger. He even chuckles, remembering how he got ripped off buying junk in the past, but knows his sharp memory won't let that happen again. Suddenly, the thief spots a player selling a stealth skill book for 6 coins. The surrounding newbies complain that the price is insane, and that nobody has that kind of money yet. Ignoring the commotion, Nian walks up to the seller to confirm the price of the item. Knowing the skill is essential, the MC hatches a plan, remembering a hidden chest in a dangerous area. Full of confidence, he proposes to take the book for free in exchange for a valuable secret that can yield dozens of the same books per day. The vendor loses his cool immediately, telling him to scram and accusing him of trying to pull a fast one. Unfazed, Nian tells the guy to chill out and nails the exact location where the items were being farmed. The merchant is instantly floored, completely baffled as to how a stranger knew the precise coordinates. Intrigued by how a newbie could have so much information, the guy in armor starts to consider the offer. Making up his mind, the vendor rolls the dice and hands the book over to the MC. The deal is done, and Nian praises the guy's directness, giving him the full details on the enemy encampment. Super hyped, the player says he's going to check out the route right away, while Nian asks him to send a few extra books his way later. Promising to return the favor if the tip pans out, the new alley disappears into the teleportation pillar. Now with the item in hand, the young man decides his first real objective will be to find that valuable chest. He quickly travels to Track Village, a place bustling with adventurers gearing up for expeditions. Without wasting any time, the thief uses the book, and the system confirms he has learned the stealth skill. A dark aura envelops the MC's body as soon as he activates the technique. Taking advantage of the camouflage, he sprints out of the village like a true shadow. He dashes down the stone roads, focused on reaching his destination quickly. Soon, the landscape changes, and the newbie enters the dark and gloomy wildcat zone. The area is crawling with level 5 monsters, enemies far beyond his current fighting ability. Sneaking carefully between the trees, he finally spots his prize resting on a giant log. Nian remembers that the rarity of the chests determines the quality of the treasure inside. The reward system ranges from the basic white tier all the way up to the coveted legendary level. Focusing on the silver box, he's relieved to see that the guaranteed loot in this spot hasn't been taken yet. Even knowing that fighting here would be a one-way trip, he reasons that perishing at level 1 doesn't cause any experience loss. With nothing to lose, he summons his protective shadow and leaps toward the danger. The young man's silhouette vanishes into the thick forest as he risks it all for the treasure. Hiding in the branches, Nian calculates that his stealth only lasts for 2 minutes, so he needs to be quick to open the chest in time. One of the huge wildcats patrols the area, its glowing eyes on high alert. Knowing he can't get too close without being detected, the young man makes a careful leap. He drops silently through the trees, perfectly dodging the deadly monsters below. Touching down on the ground with a soft thud, the newbie doesn't make a single sound. Without wasting a moment, the thief approaches the treasure and begins the long process of picking the lock. Trying to stay calm, he knows the magical effect could break at any second if he makes a mistake. One of the felines passes dangerously close to his hiding spot, making the situation extremely tense. After exactly 27 agonizing seconds, the heavy lid finally swings open. Peeking inside, the MC feels a huge wave of relief as he sees his plan worked. Holding a dark book, he celebrates getting the item that will guarantee his perfect path to leveling up. It's the Vital Strike technique, a powerful skill focused on critical hits. Thrilled, he recognizes that this high-level ability will cut the game's initial difficulty in half. Consuming the knowledge on the spot, the young man feels completely prepared. However, the camouflage effect wears off at that very moment, and 2 monstrous beasts lock their eyes on him. Attacked from all sides by the creatures, he calmly greets the monsters as he's sent flying backward. Thanking them for guarding the chest so well, the MC accepts his fate without hesitation. Since he's still at level 0 and only has starter gear, he loses absolutely no experience or items from this. The system confirms the takedown and begins the automatic teleport to the nearest safe point. Respawning in the city center, the young man jokes that this free express trip is super useful for saving time. Focused on his goal, he immediately decides to kick off the second phase of his grand plan. Using his agility, he darts through the crowded streets in search of his next stop. To move forward, he needs 20 copper coins, so the first step is to find a quick way to make some cash. Finding the village hunter, Nian accepts a job to collect 20 giant rat skulls. Next, he speaks to a farmer and picks up another quest to eliminate 50 of the same rodents. Approaching the local apothecary, the newbie mentions that he's already helping the other residents with their pest problems. Impressed, the shady man gives him a hidden quest requiring 21 rat tails, a secret the MC already knew about. Out in the hunting fields, a level 1 target appears, snarling as it roams the pasture. Giving it no chance to defend itself, Nian lunges with his dagger and activates Vital Strike, dealing massive critical damage. The monster is eliminated in a single hit, yielding the first necessary items for the city quests. A golden light flashes from the defeated enemy, surprising the young man with his luck at getting a piece of gear so early. The item is a pair of sturdy leather pants that grant a small bonus to the character's base defense. Sizing up his find, the MC calculates that selling this at the auction house will net him at least 7 copper coins. Just then, a large pack of wild rats senses his presence and charges into attack. Gliding across the battlefield like a shadow, the thief uses his special technique over and over to shred the enemies. Completely focused, he doesn't waste a single motion and clears the area in no time. An hour of hard work later, the newbie returns to the peaceful outskirts of the starting village. After turning everything in, he receives 34 coins and is surprised to get an unexpected bonus of 3 health potions from the secret quest. Seizing the moment, he puts the armor up for auction and decides his next destination will be the weapon shop. Walking through the streets, he soon finds the rustic establishment specializing in combat equipment. The vendor greets him with great enthusiasm, guaranteeing he has the best blades in the entire region. Getting straight to the point, Nian asks for a level 0 crossbow that costs no more than 40 copper and has good range. The merchant presents his masterpiece, a triple-shot, long-range weapon that costs exactly 30 coins. Satisfied with the goods, the young man throws all his money on the counter and spends the rest on 9,000 piercing bolts. With his inventory packed with ammo, the adventurer says his goodbyes and sets off to execute the true phase of his master plan. Leaving the city gates behind, the young man declares it's time to hunt in the dangerous bison zone. He knows all too well that a level 5 leader is so ridiculously strong that not even the best player on the server would dare face it right now. But thanks to his future knowledge, the MC is completely confident he can take down the massive monster even at level 0. Arriving at the plains filled with peacefully grazing beasts, he analyzes the rocky terrain around him. Carefully climbing the rocks, the newbie positions himself atop a steep cliff. Checking the mental coordinates from his past life, he confirms he's found the perfect hideout for his strategy. Peeking down from above, the adventurer spots his main target in the middle of the herd of common animals. The imposing bison leader radiates a fiery and intimidating aura as it peacefully patrols its territory. Readying his heavy crossbow, Nian notes that the cliff's height gives him the perfect safe range advantage. Aiming carefully, he fires the first volley of bolts toward the unsuspecting beast. Hitting the target dead on, he deals a measly 1 point of damage due to the massive level difference between them. Unfazed, he reloads the weapon and vows to slowly chip away at the creature using all 9,000 of his shots. More volleys of metal rain down from the sky, repeatedly striking the monster's head. Feeling the constant pain, the animal loses a sliver of health and flies into an absolute rage. Roaring with hatred, the enormous leader launches a brutal charge toward the base of the rock wall. The impact of its horns against the mountain shakes everything, but the young man knows the beast will never reach him in this glitched spot on the map. Completely helpless, the boss gets stuck at the base of the cliff, taking a non-stop shower of critical hits. Time ticks by slowly as the massive stock of ammunition in the player's inventory gradually disappears. 3 long hours pass, and the snorting monster stubbornly holds on, even with its health bar nearly empty. Sweating from exhaustion, Nian is impressed by the leader's resilience after taking almost 9,000 bolts to the hide. Forcing his numb arms to move, the marksman fires the last lethal volleys straight into the creature's skull. One well-aimed bolt pierces a vital spot, dealing the final, decisive point of damage. Defeated by sheer persistence, the colossal creature collapses to the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust. The body of the fearsome bison leader lies sprawled in the valley, marking the absolute victory of the newbie hunter. Bathed in a heavenly light thanks to the high-level kill bonus, the MC shoots straight up to the coveted level 2. Climbing down from the safety of his perch, he approaches the corpse to inspect the glowing red prize on the ground. Picking up the loot, he holds a bronze dagger made from a horn, its attributes still needing to be revealed. Knowing that equipment is divided into various rarities, he celebrates the incredibly low chance of getting something so valuable this early. Unlike the basic junk, bronze weapons have much higher attack power and carry a random special enchantment. Proud of his success, Nian calculates that the blade is worth a fortune. But first, he needs to find someone to reveal its hidden stats. A notification for the sale of his gear pops up on the screen, and the player known as Flying Stone messages the MC to chat. Excited, his new ally confirms that the tip about the secret spot really worked, and Nian lets him know he's already gotten 2 stealth books from there. Asking to get a copy later, the guy in armor asks how he knew about such a great spot while being only level 0. The newbie lies smoothly, claiming he had an old account but deleted it to start fresh as a dedicated thief. Hearing that, Flying Stone asks if his partner has already cleared the shaman's camp dungeon, since his own team just got wiped out there recently. Not missing a beat, the MC charges 2 silver coins for a complete walkthrough of the challenge, and his ally agrees on the spot. The call ends, and he's quite pleased to have traded a common book for valuable information. Running through the green fields, the thief decides it's the perfect time to finally get his dagger stats identified. Upon arriving in the quiet track village, he quickly walks through the bustling streets toward the right establishment. As soon as he finds the appraiser in charge, the adventurer hands the mysterious blade directly to her. The woman calmly examines the object and informs him that the identification service will cost exactly 10 copper coins. Shocked by the fee, the young man quickly deduces that the market price of the weapon must be at least 12 silver coins. So, he opens his inventory without complaint and hands over the required coins to complete the appraisal process. A powerful magical energy flows through the expert's hands as the spell reveals the true nature of the hidden equipment. The system finally displays that the horn dagger is a powerful bronze item that grants 18 points of attack. With the weapon in hand, the young man notes that its base damage is 10 points higher than a common blade, which puts him in an unbeatable position. Even with good items, he recognizes that he lacks the resources to heal his wounds and stay alive in long battles. Since health potions and magic spells are very expensive, he decides that learning the bandaging skill is the best option. Arriving at the local apothecary, the adventurer goes straight to the counter to ask for 2 basic recovery potions. The vendor hands over the vials immediately, and the MC takes the opportunity to learn his combat medic technique right then and there. His next journey takes him to the dangerous and choppy shores of the massive Lake Rando. The area there is overrun by ferocious fishmen, proving that the only way to cross without a fight is by using stealth. Suddenly, a large regional announcement panel completely blocks his view of the landscape. The message from the Victorious Return Guild demands that all solo players leave the area immediately. Nian remembers all too well how the same group acted with extreme arrogance and hunted him for months in his past life. Holding onto that old grudge, he swears he will collect on that debt, bit by bit, with no rush at all. Focusing on his main goal, the young man activates his special technique, and his body is swallowed by the forest's shadows. Thanks to the visual advantage, he advances stealthily, slipping past the monsters patrolling the lake's edge unnoticed. However, as soon as the camouflage effect wears off, a giant fireball materializes out of nowhere, rocketing toward his back. Aided by his quick reflexes, the thief barely dodges the magic attack as the system warns him of imminent combat. The attacker, named Purple Flame, tells the young man to get lost, reinforcing that solo players are forbidden in the region. Faced with the threat, the MC understands that fighting a mage requires either closing the distance quickly or running for it. But running from a fight isn't his style, and the newbie calculates that the enemy's spell takes exactly 2 seconds to recharge. With that perfect window identified, he dashes like a lightning bolt straight toward the completely surprised caster. Already backing away in a panic, the sorcerer scoffs that the idiot is digging his own grave by challenging their entire team. Next, a violent circle of fire erupts on the ground around the mage to repel any attempt to get close. The impact of the magical explosion hits Nian head-on, dealing massive damage that drastically reduces his health. He immediately pulls out the instant heal potion he bought minutes ago and restores his health without breaking his stride. The thief then asks if the enemy really thought he'd get away clean after letting the distance get so short. Desperate from the relentless charge, the mage tries to conjure more protective flames and yells for his target to back off. Confident, the sorcerer calculates that a beginner thief can't have more than 20 health points left after taking that hit. The guild member trusts his own remaining durability and prepares a final attack, blindly believing in his victory. Furious at the audacity, the caster launches his lethal spell toward the dusty ground to eliminate the threat. The MC escapes the impact zone unscathed and grips his new horn dagger with extreme firmness. The deadly blade glows intensely in the dust as he executes a powerful vital strike straight into the opponent's unprotected chest. Falling defeated to the ground, the mage is completely shocked, unable to understand how he lost a direct confrontation so quickly. The sorcerer soon realizes he used a healing item and tries to figure out where a solo player got the money for such an expensive potion. Nian coldly replies that the jerk will have plenty of time to think about that after he respawns in the city. He seizes the opportunity to pick up the enemy's bronze staff, knowing he needs to get out of there fast before reinforcements arrive. Just then, other furious guild members appear on the horizon, telling the killer to stop right where he is. Seeing their target run for the shore, one of the reinforcements sarcastically asks if the coward thinks he can actually get away. A sturdy warrior takes the lead of the pack and begins a violent leaping attack, his giant sword raised for the kill. The crushing blow comes down from the sky with overwhelming force, but the adventurer dodges it with brilliant agility. The sword collides brutally with the rocky ground, kicking up a thick cloud of dust and cracking the earth. The attacker is extremely frustrated to realize that this newbie's movement is incredibly faster than normal. Without a second of hesitation, the MC chugs a water-breathing potion and dives headfirst into the deep waters of the lake. In a last-ditch effort to prevent the humiliating escape, the swordsman launches a powerful ranged flame attack. The wave of fire blazes through the air, crossing the cliff straight for the fugitive's vulnerable back. Glancing over his shoulder, Nian assesses the real danger of the spell closing in at high speed. Despite the deadly assault, the young man's body plunges safely into the cold water just before the flames can reach him. The hasty dive kicks up a gigantic pillar of water, dramatically marking the exact spot of his escape. The attackers stop at the cliff's edge, admitting they don't have the special items needed to start a pursuit at the bottom of the lake. The team leader arrives, annoyed, and curtly asks where the brazen killer of their teammate ran off to. As soon as they inform him about the dive, the commander immediately orders them to find out the mysterious enemy's username. Upon hearing the name is Nirvana Flame, The captain swears that the thief will be hunted down without mercy next time. Already swimming through the silent depths, the MC is relieved to have shaken off the group and focuses on the hidden chests. His memory of the future serves him perfectly, and he soon spots a treasure chest resting among the rocks at the bottom. The young man unlocks the submerged compartment and gets a magic pearl that grants 30 minutes of underwater breathing. But the calm is brutally shattered when a massive steel trident dangerously scrapes past his head. Surprised by the swift ambush, the intruder realizes too late that he's walked straight into the central lair of the region's fishmen. Since he's fighting in an aquatic environment, he knows all too well he doesn't stand a chance of winning a direct fight against the natives. Thirsting for fresh blood, two terrifying monsters dart at high speed to shred the completely defenseless intruder. On the surface above them, several spells explode violently against the water, drawing the attention of the entire fierce tribe. The creatures abandon their pursuit of the intruder and leap out of the lake, aiming to eliminate the troublemaking guild members. Delighted by his immense luck, the thief is grateful for the perfect distraction the arrogant group provided to save his skin. Swimming through the depths, the MC finally finds the lake, Heart Island, he was searching for. Breaking the surface of the water, he gasps for air, feeling an enormous sense of relief to be safe again. But as he reaches the shore, the young man hears a surprised shout and immediately recognizes the girl fighting there. The newbie is shocked to see it's the holy mage who was part of his own team in his past life. Remembering the many adventures they shared, Ni Yan thinks this reunion can only be fate at work. Just then, the girl notices his presence and tenses up, thinking the stranger is going to use the monsters as an opportunity to attack her. Without saying a single word, the young man runs straight past her, focused only on the imminent threats. With his dagger in hand, the thief unleashes a powerful vital strike directly on the water spider that was chasing her. The mage takes advantage of the unexpected help and summons Holy Judgment to blast the other creature that was on her tail. Like a perfect team, the duo attacks in total sync, annihilating the remaining beasts with zero difficulty. Seeing the enemies turn to dust, the girl breathes a sigh of relief and thanks the stranger for the crucial help. The adventurer says it was no problem at all and introduces himself by his player name, Nirvana Flame. Hearing that peculiar name, the young woman is quite surprised and thoughtful about the huge coincidence. She connects the dots instantly and wonders to herself if this guy is the same Ni Yan she knows outside the game. Finally, the mage introduces herself as Cha-Cha and sends a friend request, promising to return the favor in the future. With the friendship accepted in the system, the MC asks what she's doing on this dangerous island all by herself. She explains that she needs to hunt the spiders for water pouches, so he immediately suggests they form a group to farm together. Excited by the idea, Cha-Cha opens a trade window and offers the fine silks she gathered earlier as a reward for his help. Looking at his inventory, Ni Yan is impressed to note that the 12 silks are worth an incredible 36 copper coins on the market. Noticing his surprise, the girl explains that the value doesn't compare to the priceless experience she would have lost if she had perished there. Suddenly, a massive leader water spider emerges from nowhere, startling the young woman with its monstrous size and presence. Without wasting time on panic, the MC sends a quick group invite to share the combat points. Immediately after, he charges forward without fear and drives his dagger into the creature's carapace with a vital strike, dealing absurd damage. Providing support from the rear, the mage conjures her brilliant Holy Judgment and launches it straight at the spider boss. The explosion of light hits the monster dead on, tearing away an impressive 70 points of health in one go. Annoyed by the attacks, the beast tries to crush the thief with its sharp claws, but he manages to leap aside just in time. Still in the air, the young man pulls out his repeating crossbow and tells his partner to focus on damage while he draws all the enemy's attention. The bolts pierce the monster's back repeatedly, keeping the beast completely fixated on the annoying marksman. With the path clear, Cha-Cha agrees to the risky strategy and prepares another deadly magic attack with her long staff. The brilliant spell hits its target lethally, securing another massive chunk of damage in this flawless cooperative battle. The system announces that the leader has been successfully defeated, and the giant spider's body collapses lifelessly, splashing water everywhere. Deeply intrigued, the girl reflects on how their synergy felt so natural, as if they had been fighting together for years. Noticing his partner staring intently at his face, the marksman calmly asks if there's something wrong. She quickly hides her embarrassment and compliments his insane skills, asking why someone so good always plays alone. When he replies that he just prefers solitude, Cha-Cha invites him to join her team's raid on the Trent Forest. Knowing it's a deadly level 3 dungeon, the thief immediately asks about the vital stats of her shield-wielding warriors. The mage confidently replies that they have 2 powerful tanks on the team, each with 53 defense. Being blunt, Ni Yan warns that if their defense doesn't hit the 60-point mark, the boss will wipe out the front line in a single hit. Shocked by this classified information about the monster's critical hits, the young woman can't understand where he gets such absurdly detailed game knowledge. But she laments that getting bronze gear to boost that defense is unrealistic, and the team has already prepared too much to back down. Full of confidence, the young man states that there's another, much simpler solution: let him take command of the entire operation. A bit uncertain about the bold proposal, the girl says she trusts his potential, but it will be tough to convince her guildmates. He agrees to wait for her to try and negotiate, turning his attention to the loot the spider boss dropped on the island's illuminated ground. Impressing the mage once again, the MC uses his appraisal skill to identify a pair of bronze, rarity-fine silk gloves. Seeing that the item's magical attributes are useless for his combat style, the young man hands the rare gloves over to her without a second thought. To make up for the gift, he shows her that he got a thief's assassination book and a rare silk item, deciding to keep only those. Very grateful that her ally also did well with the loot, she happily equips the new defensive gear, promising to use it wisely. Just then, a global announcement appears in the air, stating that servers worldwide will shut down for maintenance in exactly 3 minutes. With little time left, the girl cheerfully waves to her new hunting partner, assuring him they'll meet up in the next session. The young man waves back and starts logging out, accepting that his insane monster slaying marathon is finally over for the day. Back in the real world, Nian removes the heavy virtual helmet and notices from the light that the morning of the second day has already filled the room. Hurriedly putting on his running shoes, the young man acknowledges that while his avatar has gotten strong, his physical body still needs training. Clenching his fists in anger, he knows his greatest enemy will be surrounded by goons, and he can't rely on luck alone to stay alive. With this steely focus in mind, the MC leaves his apartment building and starts jogging through the city's leafy and bustling neighborhood. But as he tries to cross a major avenue without looking properly, a monstrous truck appears out of nowhere and screeches to a halt right near him. The shock is so brutal that the young man stumbles backward, falling painfully onto the hot asphalt as bags fly through the air. Still dazed from the near-fatal accident, he hears a soft and completely familiar voice calling his real name from the street. A young woman runs over in an absolute panic, and the young man immediately recognizes her as his old and beloved classmate, Shi Yao. Gently holding his injured arm, the girl scolds him for his absurd carelessness while assessing the scrapes from the fall. Pulling the injured guy toward her own imported car, his friend informs him in a commanding tone that she has an emergency first aid kit inside. As he quietly receives the bandages, the young man internally regrets being such a coward in the past that he never confessed his feelings. The young woman cleans the blood from the cut and gives him a friendly scolding, begging him for the love of God to stop being so recklessly blind. Completely charmed by her care, Nian just stares into the beautiful eyes of the old friend he loved and lost so tragically. Embarrassed by his intense and silent gaze, she asks if he heard her complaint, and he tries to be charming, saying that at least he has her there now. The girl turns her beat, red face away and feigns annoyance, stating that she hates having to take care of him before slamming the door. As she speeds down the street in her pink car, Shi Ya starts connecting the dots and seriously suspects that Slacker might just be Nirvana Flame. The MC feels a huge sense of relief seeing the vehicle disappear peacefully, but his mood soon darkens as he remembers the one responsible for her ruin. Cutting through the tense atmosphere on the asphalt, the phone in his pocket rings wildly, displaying a call from his old best friend, Tang Yao. As soon as he answers, the young man hears his partner yelling nonstop, demanding to know what hole he's been hiding in for the past 2 days. Overjoyed to hear that energetic voice again, Nian mentally thanks the heavens that his friend is alive and well in this timeline. But the marksman recalls with pure bitterness that Tang Yao was brutally taken out in a dark alley after getting into a fight over a girl. Moments later, the loudmouth physically appears on the street and wraps his arm around his friend's neck in an aggressive but friendly bear hug. His blonde partner excitedly asks if he's hooked on the game of the moment, and the thief proudly confirms he's hit level 2. Impressed by his friend's frantic pace, the level 3 arcane mage drags the marksman off, demanding a mandatory visit to the dueling bar. Arriving at the modern, illuminated virtual club, they observe the entertainment arenas, where taking a dive doesn't cost you any stats. Inside the modern facility, the two walk through the area where duels always involve betting money or equipment. Right away, a suit with blue hair named Wei Kai scoffs at the MC's friend, asking if he came to hand over more money again. Noticing the thief there too, the arrogant guy provokes him, asking if the lesson he taught him last time wasn't enough. Ignoring the insults, Tang Yao reassures his partner, guaranteeing that those guys wouldn't have the guts to do anything inside. Intrigued, the adversary stares at the newbie, wondering why he's so calm today, and if the kid has gotten bolder. Losing his patience, the mage tells him to stop messing around and proposes a bet of 200 coins per round. The virtual arena quickly activates, announcing the showdown between the level 3 Arcane Mage and the also level 3 Berserker. Sizing up the situation from a distance, Nian notes that a Berserker with a charge ability is a huge disadvantage for his friend. As soon as the flat plane map is generated, the marksman concludes that the terrain makes dodging even harder for a mage. Taking advantage of the weight, one of the goons named Shifeng decides to challenge the MC to a quick round as well. The young man accepts the invitation without hesitation but coldly states he'll only play one round, because he's not interested in small bets. Furious at the level 2's arrogance, the challenger offers up all 700 of his coins to teach the punk a lesson. The system registers the parallel match, putting the Wind Thief face to face with the level 2 ranger. The surrounding scenery dissolves and quickly reforms into a dense bamboo forest as their battlefield. While the enemy seriously surveys the area, the MC activates his stealth ability and immediately vanishes. A strong wind blows, rustling the leaves in the isolated area, as the ranger carefully searches for any trace of his target. Full of confidence, Shifeng leaps over a log, declaring that the arrogant guy is definitely going down today. Stopping in the middle of the dirt path, the marksman tries to figure out what hold the kid managed to hide in so quickly. Silently dropping from the foliage, the thief reflects that concealing his presence is pure instinct after 10 years of experience. The MC's body lands softly right behind his opponent, making absolutely no sound in the process. Without wasting a second, he drives his dagger into the enemy, guaranteeing a clean hit that shaves off 40 health points in one go. The impact catches Shifeng completely by surprise. He whips his head around in shock, trying to understand when his target got behind him. Finishing the lethal move, the young man declares with extreme coldness that this fight is already over. He then executes the Vital Strike technique, delivering a brutal 70-point critical hit straight to the ranger's chest. Unable to withstand the massive damage, the opponent's body shatters into a burst of bright pixels, confirming his immediate elimination. Outside the booths, the spectators are dumbfounded by the challenger's incredibly swift defeat. Exciting the simulator casually, Nian thinks that using his advanced skills against a beginner is almost too cruel. With his helmet off, the loser remains stunned, realizing he was taken down with just one hit and super simple moves. Unable to hide his disbelief, the ranger mentally questions when that kid became so decisive and lethal. Just then, the MC's mage friend is thrown to the ground and pinned by the berserker, ending the other duel in a humiliating defeat. Walking back, completely frustrated, Tang Ya reports that he lost 1,200 coins in just 2 quick rounds. His partner complains angrily that the guy's anti-magic aura completely nullified his combat abilities. The thief calmly explains that the aura only reduces a little damage, and that defeating a berserker is simple if you get the timing right. Impressed by the technical knowledge, his blonde friend comes closer, asking where the kid learned so many battle details. But their conversation is cut short by the arrival of Wei Kai, who flaunts his winnings and aggressively asks if the newbie just won. Surrounding the young man with his goons, the suit yells, asking what's with all the arrogance on his part. Furious that his own lackey lost money, he promises to teach the punk a good lesson right then and there. With a sudden, violent move, the guy grabs Nian's wrist with great force, trying to physically intimidate him. Taking advantage of the charge, the MC grabs the aggressor's arm and violently throws him onto the metal floor in a perfect takedown. Standing over the fallen brute, he coldly remembers that in his past life, he had to practice a lot of fighting to deal with his enemies. Utterly bewildered by the scene, his mage friend can't believe the sudden strength of his partner, who had always been so peaceful. The goons back away, spooked by the display of force, and decide it's best not to provoke this guy at all. Pushing himself up with difficulty, Wei Kai finally realizes that this kid is completely different from the weak person he used to be. The suit points a finger, accusing the MC of just having brutally beaten his subordinate in the arenas. Relaxed and with his arms crossed, Nian confirms he played a little round, but sarcastically adds that the lackey was a bit too weak. Challenging the gang leader directly, he asks if the suit is interested in playing too, as long as the stakes are high. The berserker loses his mind at the taunt and questions if a level 2 really thinks he can humiliate a level 3 like that. With unshackable calm, the young man holds up 3 fingers and proposes they bet the exact amount of 3,000 coins on this single match. His opponent accepts the challenge instantly, completely doubting that an inferior newbie could turn the tables on him. Desperate, Tang Ya grabs his friend by the shoulders, asking if he's lost his mind and if he even has that much cash. The thief calmly asks his partner to lend him the amount, promising to risk his own life to keep up with this gentleman. With the deal sealed, the system announces the start of the match, transferring both fighters to the combat arena. The virtual scenery materializes quickly, revealing a vast green plain under a clear sky with a few birds. Watching from the outside, the mage laments the choice of map, stating that an open field is the worst nightmare for someone who needs to hide. With his giant sword in hand, the opponent scoffs, offering to change the terrain if the newbie thinks the situation is too unfair. The MC immediately refuses the offer and activates his camouflage, stating that this pasture is just fine. In a matter of seconds, the young man's body dissolves into thin air, and he completely vanishes in the middle of the vast plain. Alone in the open field, the berserker tries to pinpoint the exact location of his hidden enemy. Focusing on the low vegetation, he concludes that the tufts of grass will expose his target's footprints and decides to use the environment to his advantage. Suddenly, a strong gust of wind sweeps across the plain, making all the grass sway intensely from side to side. The natural phenomenon catches the warrior off guard, and he realizes with frustration that he's just lost the enemy's trail on the ground. Fearing a surprise attack, he spins his heavy sword in all directions, cutting the grass around him in a blind attempt to defend himself. After a brief pause, the man admits with astonishment that he's never seen a player use stealth so masterfully on this kind of terrain. The wind suddenly dies down, leaving the environment dangerously silent and forcing his opponent to go on full defense. Gripping his weapon tightly, he deduces that the kid must be moving very slowly in front of him to avoid making any mistakes. Moments later, a new and violent gust of wind crosses the green field, creating a deafening noise throughout the area. Taking advantage of the perfect cover, the thief appears out of nowhere behind his enemy and lands a devastating slashing blow. The brutal impact sends the brute stumbling forward, yelling in pain as he wonders how the kid managed to flank him so quickly. Spinning his body to counterattack, Wei Kai unleashes his whirlwind slash ability, sweeping the field with magic. The marksman slides across the ground, dodging the blade, knowing that the animation of that heavy attack will leave his enemy exposed for a second. Confident in a lethal hit, the suit celebrates his imminent victory, counting on the absolute power of his magic attack. However, his colossal sword only smashes into the empty earth, kicking up dust and proving that the strike missed miserably. Without wasting a moment, the MC dashes through the messy grass, taking advantage of the perfect opening in his enemy's defense. The dagger glows intensely as it cuts through the air, and he lands a merciless vital strike straight into the warrior's unprotected chest. Watching everything on the big screens, his mage friend and the other guys are absolutely stunned by the flawless genius of that attack. Annoyed by the perfect dodge, Wei Kai swings his heavy sword in his opponent's direction. Moments later, the warrior prepares a powerful blow and summons his flaming slash ability. A blade of fire comes crashing down as the big guy tells the newbie to go straight to his grave. Desperate in the stands, Tang Ya screams at the top of his lungs for his friend to dodge the deadly attack, but the MC deduces that the enemy just wants to force a retreat and trusts his advantage in close quarters combat. Charging through the flames, the thief ignores the damage and quickly closes the distance. The suit is outraged by the kid's audacity to take his magic head on. Without missing a beat, the brute follows up with a new, brutal charging attack with his red sword. A huge arc of energy tears through the scenery, seeking to split its target in two. Watching the blow, Tang Ya panics while the lackey Shifeng guarantees that the newbie is done for because of the stun effect. To everyone's surprise, the warrior is shocked to realize his target dodged such a fast attack at point-blank range. Wielding his dagger, Nian knows his own weapon's reach is longer than the enemy's charge. Seizing the perfect opening, the marksman dashes forward like a lightning bolt and drives his blade into his opponent. The critical hit explodes, spreading light across the entire battlefield. Utterly defeated, Wei Kai watches his health bar hit zero and collapses onto the ground. Landing safely, the winner acknowledges he took a bit of damage, but the luck of striking first secured his victory. The system panel confirms the successful match as the kid's eyes overflow with pure confidence. In the stands, the shock is absolute, and everyone can hardly believe that a level 2 just crushed their level 3 leader. Back outside the simulation, the suit takes off his helmet, still processing his impossible defeat. Tang Yo runs over, amazed, to praise his friend, while the lackey tries to downplay it, saying it was pure luck. Grabbing his partner, the blonde begs to learn how to play properly and receives a promise of complete training. When the loser gets up with his head down, the mage immediately taunts him, asking if he's going to welch on the bet. Surprising everyone, the warrior accepts his loss with honor and even invites the duo for a drink at his bar sometime. With no more trouble, the group leader says his goodbyes and leaves with his goons. In the hallways, the lackey doesn't understand the kindness, but the boss explains it's better not to make an enemy of someone with that kind of talent. Back in the arena, Tang Ya says he'll pay for snacks to celebrate, and they agree to meet up in the game that night. A few hours pass, and a serene night falls over the city. Focused on getting strong in real life, the young man goes through an intense routine of sit-ups and push-ups in his room. Sweating profusely, he praises the vitality of youth and decides it's time to meet up with the mage's team. The helmet is activated again, and the player dives headfirst back into the virtual world. The scenery forms, and the marksman reappears in the fantasy world, perfectly prepared. A friend request from Tang Ya pops up on the screen, followed by a payment notification of 1 silver coin for the dungeon guide. Planning to bring his friend along on the raid, he decides to hold off on selling more guides to make a bigger profit later. With business on his mind, the newbie walks through the village, determined to turn in his hidden quest first. Finding the local healer, he hands over the fine silks he got while hunting with his partner earlier. Soon, his blonde partner arrives excitedly and is told they're going to hunt the king of the forest today. The duo heads together toward the central plaza, where the team is waiting. Waving from a distance, Cha-Cha calls out to the MC, accompanied by a blonded knight named Yulan. Totally stoked about the girls, Tang Ya whispers, wanting to know when his friend found such pretty companions. The mage explains she worked her butt off to convince the blonde leader and asks the thief not to embarrass them. At the back of the group, a guy in a bandana named Chen Bo clicks his tongue in pure disdain. Yulan politely greets the guest, mentally observing that his calm demeanor really does seem like that of an expert. Without beating around the bush, the young man guarantees 100% success in the dungeon, as long as he's the captain and everyone obeys him blindly. The mood instantly soars, and the other guild members exchange suspicious glances. Outraged, the guy in the bandana steps forward, demanding to know why they should follow a stranger who could get them all wiped out. The leader immediately scolds her subordinate, reminding him that this was the deal made before he arrived. She then apologizes for the rudeness and announces she's putting everyone under the newbie's command. Very seriously, the MC warns that anyone who causes trouble or acts in bad faith will suffer cruel consequences. The system starts beeping, confirming that several members have joined the newly created group. Backing up the decision, the blonde threatens to permanently kick out anyone who tries to disrupt the new boss's strategy. Though reluctant, the grumpy member accepts the invite, crossing his arms in a full mood. Trying to smooth things over, Nian reminds them they're on the same side and promises to pay 10 silver coins out of his own pocket if the team wipes. The insane amount leaves the girls completely shocked by the solo player's blind confidence. The other members whisper about his audacity, while the leader confirms that her friend was right about the guy's talent. Taking on the commander role, the marksman tells everyone to report their stats, starting with the shield bearers. The main tank introduces himself, stating he has 60, 1 defense and 230 health points. Soon, the other warriors and mages begin to relay their base damage for the raid planning. Analyzing the pieces, the leader tells one warrior to buy a speed potion and another to get a strength scroll. The order causes general amazement, as those items cost dozens of coins and aren't worth the profit from the dungeon. Chen Bo smirks, silently concluding that the punk is a fraud and will sink them all. Sticking up for his friend, Tang Ya scoffs, asking if they're so poor they need a loan. The guy in the bandana loses his composure and curses at the blonde, calling him a broke loser. Cha-Cha intervenes, asking if the normal difficulty really requires such expenses, but the MC reveals they're doing the expert level. With the decision made, the blonded knight orders the guild to swallow their pride and buy everything he requested. Fully stocked, the massive team marches together out of the city's great gates. Standing before the dark portal, the system notifies them of their official entry into the dangerous Trent Forest on expert mode. Panic grips the newbies, who start shouting, thinking the captain accidentally selected the wrong difficulty. Assessing the situation, the leader is stunned, realizing it wasn't a mistake, and that he planned this suicide mission from the start. Completely freaking out, Chen Bu accuses the marksman of wanting to get them all wiped out on purpose to steal their experience. Ice cold, the commander points a finger and tells the lackey to leave the group if he has a problem with it. The pink-haired mage steps in front of her friend and gives an ultimatum, forbidding the troublemaker from disrespecting the captain any further. The complainer backs down a bit, nervously stating he has nothing against her in all this. But behind the girl's back, he shoots a look of pure hatred at the meddling newbie. Ignoring the tantrum, the MC explains that this difficulty just requires a bit more care and promises to guide everyone through the boss patterns. Staring at the kid, the knight mentally questions where he gets so much courage to trivialize such a deadly dungeon. The pink-haired mage asks with concern if he's really sure about what he's doing, but the young man tells her to relax, guaranteeing there won't be any problems. With a smirk, Chen Bo thinks to himself that he can't wait to see how the punk will lead the team through this insane difficulty. The enormous group enters the dense, dark forest with very careful steps. The captain soon announces they've entered the enemy's range and orders everyone to spread out to the sides immediately to avoid casualties. Just then, a huge root tentacle erupts from the ground, catching one of the shield bearers by surprise. The thick vine brutally wraps itself around the lackey's body. A massive, monstrous Trent emerges from the shadows, attacking the entire team with its sharp branches. Being crushed by the binds, the guy in the bandana panics and desperately begs the leader to save him. The monster pulls the helpless victim into the air as the coward continues to scream for help. Maintaining his cool in the chaos, the MC tells his friend to attack the right flank and orders the warriors to form a barrier, while the mages unleash everything. Immediately, the team's tank charges forward and raises his huge shield, blocking the wooden whip. With the violent impact, the defenders firmly hold against the creature's furious assault. Taking advantage of the front line's perfect defense, a veritable storm of colorful spells hits the monster head-on. The magical explosion destroys the target, reducing its health bar to 0 in the blink of an eye. Without the support of the dead roots, the troublemaker plummets painfully toward the rocky ground. Lying on the ground, the guy accuses the leader of seeing the danger beforehand and deliberately hiding the information, just to mess with him. Out of patience, the marksman explains that even the tank managed to dodge the attack and questions what kind of thief can't avoid such a slow move. Sticking up for his partner, the blonde scoffs, telling the loser to stop blaming others for his own incompetence. The knight leader cuts off the argument, ordering the lackey to stop embarrassing himself, which makes him furious that she isn't defending him. Changing the subject, the captain announces the path is full of traps and decides to take the lead since his teammate is useless for the job. A chilling wind blows through the dense woods, signaling the hidden danger in the green scenery. The newbie picks up the pace, guiding the guild through the winding shortcuts of the forest. As he passes a fallen log, he intentionally triggers one of the mechanisms hidden in the dirt. Deadly ice spikes shoot out from the shadows, slicing through the air right next to him. With absurd reflexes, the kid slides unscathed through a sequence of explosive electric bolts that appear out of nowhere. A web of magical light blocks the trail in the blink of an eye, closing them in. Moving like a shadow, he shatters the luminous barrier with just one precise strike from his dark blade. Glancing back with contempt, the marksman confesses he's never seen a stealth player be so pathetic and amateurish. Foaming with rage, the lackey shouts, accusing the captain of setting the trap on purpose since he passed through unharmed before. The mage retorts, calling the coward ungrateful and reminding him that if his friend hadn't disarmed the path, the entire team would be done for. The MC argues that it's impossible to walk safely in a place like this and declares that the failure isn't worthy of the class he chose. Completely losing control, the guy in the bandana draws his sword, cursing at the leader and demanding a direct duel to prove who's boss. In a blind rage, he charges at the young man, promising to end his life in a single blow. Coldly raising just one hand, the thief sarcastically asks if the piece of trash really thinks he has the guts to propose a fair duel. The leader's icy and intimidating posture makes the troublemaker back down and freeze in fear on the spot. Ignoring the silly squabble, the kid points to the thicket filled with glowing eyes, announcing he's mapped out 18 monsters blocking the route. The blonde knight says that facing this entire horde is suicide, but he reassures her, guaranteeing he won't attack them all at once. With the plan already laid out in his mind, the young man takes the lead of the group. Taking the first step toward the enemy's lair, he dashes toward the horde, leaving his allies completely confused about what crazy strategy he has this time. Using his absurd agility, the adventurer smashes a blinding item on the ground to initiate the perfect ambush. Pulling out his repeating crossbow in mid-air, he promises to show the newbie group how a divine master pulls aggro. The marksman spins his body, firing several metal bolts at a frantic pace toward the sleeping targets. The bolts cut through the forest's darkness, traveling in multiple different directions to hit specific points. Terrified by the tactic, the guild members think the captain has lost his mind and is going to get them all wiped out by waking up the horde. Landing firmly on the ground, the MC just ignores the panic and shouts the exact coordinates for his mage friend to create a terrain block. The darts simultaneously embed themselves in the trunks of 3 specific monsters, isolating only them from the rest of the giant horde. The leader is dazzled by the miraculous technique, confessing that firing in different directions to pull aggro was just a legend to her. The girls chat, impressed by the fact that he attacked creatures so close to each other without triggering the whole map's aggro. Observing the genius of the move, the pink-haired mage realizes with amazement that her partner found an angle that not even veterans can find. Furious at the surprise attacks, the enormous cursed tree charges swiftly toward the guild's front line. The captain directs the block perfectly and guarantees that if the shield bearers hold their ground, the creature will be harmless, ordering full focus on damage. Without a second's hesitation, the blonde mage summons his energy and bombards the monster from a distance with a massive beam. The thundering impact of the tree hits the front line's heavy shield directly, which holds firm against the blow. Rushing to help her ally, the knight charges with her spear in hand, telling her partners to hold on until she arrives. With an acrobatic leap, the warrior delivers a brilliant piercing blow filled with lethal magic. The wooden creature loses its last drop of health after the joint assault and begins to crumble in front of the team. The gigantic body turns to dust on the forest floor, leaving a beam of light that reveals a very valuable item dropped from the loot. The guild is shocked to see they drop bronze gloves for mages right in the first few kills, proving the rewards here are insane. His pink-haired partner praises the young man's perfect coordination, who just smiles, remembering he promised to lead them to success on expert mode. Completely in control of the situation, he turns to the group and declares they will repeat this same safe pattern to exterminate the rest of the horde without risk. 20 long minutes of strategic hunting pass, and the forest is gradually cleared by the focus team. The MC finishes off the last cursed monster with a lethal backstab, securing the entire area. Resting on the ground after the battle, the group celebrates in amazement at the mountain of rare equipment they've earned together in such a short time. But the calm is interrupted when they notice a lone figure resting atop a dark log. It's the old Trent Herder, a super important character known as the peaceful guardian of the entire jungle. According to the game's immersive lore, the living trees and humans always coexisted peacefully under the kind supervision of this elderly man. However, this harmony was brutally shattered when dark traces of evil cultists began to pollute the magical land. Overcome by this terrible, uncontrollable force, the Trents went mad and began a merciless slaughter against any human in the region. The Council of Elders had to declare an official crusade against the Trent King to stop the plague, marking the beginning of this dangerous dungeon story. Startled by the presence of the armed group, the old man tells them all to flee, warning that the night will make the monsters absurdly more lethal. But the captain approaches with great respect and reveals they came precisely to exterminate the creatures and seek justice for the losses. Furious at the smooth talk, the man shouts that the real culprits who deserve to perish are the scum who secretly stole his sacred flute. Shocked by the dense dialogue, the girls wonder with their jaws dropped how the kid knew how to trigger a secret quest like that in such an isolated place. On the other side of the team, the guy in the bandana swallows hard, completely frustrated and dying of envy at the newbie player's brilliant success. Knowing the final boss would be invincible without this blessing, the marksman supports the guardian and offers to purify the beasts and retrieve the artifact. The old man explains that the adventurers were very helpful in spotting the hidden enemies. He hands over a revealing powder and tells the group to retrieve the flute to defeat the Control Trent King. The system confirms the receipt of 3 special revealing potions that last for exactly 20 seconds. The captain crushes the item on a rock and orders everyone to follow him quickly. The magic powder spreads across the rocky ground, activating its effect instantly. Using a long vine, the marksman skillfully descends the illuminated rock wall. The entire team follows the leader down the steep mountain trail. Curious, the pink-haired mage asks if he managed to find the elves the villager mentioned. The MC confirms with great confidence as they all walk across the stone bridge under the full moon. Pointing to the rocks, he says they are going to corner the pair of thieves right in that spot. But his partner is confused, not understanding how he knows the exact position of the targets in the dark. The young man calmly explains that the 2 cowards have been following the team since the beginning of the mission. Shocked by the information, the girl looks back, quite spooked by the pursuit. The marksman notices the enemy movement and announces that the targets have just arrived. Knowing the agility of the Dark Elves, he declares they need to end the fight in a single, devastating attack. The team advances stealthily through the dark corridors of the enormous stone cave. Confirming that the enemies took the bait, the thief readies his glowing dagger for combat. The 2 Dark Elves materialize at the back of the cave, falling right into the prepared trap. Roaring with hatred, the shadowy creatures go on the offensive without a second thought. The team's tank blocks the passage with a laugh, asking where they think they're going. The beast tries to charge forward, letting out a threatening roar at the armored brute. The shield bearer holds against the heavy charge, while the blonde mage prepares his magic right behind him. With his hands glowing intensely, Tang Yao concentrates his pure arcane energy. A huge fireball soars through the air and hits one of the dark elves dead on. Seeing the perfect opening, the blondie knight charges with all her might, telling the rest of the team to help with the takedown. The rear guard promptly obeys and calls out to finish the monsters once and for all. The elves try to retaliate with their claws, but the thief appears out of nowhere in the middle of all the chaos. With a lethal move, the marksman unleashes his special attack, tearing through the creature's chest with his dagger. The devastating critical hit shaves off 50 health points from the enemy instantly. Taking advantage of the blow's impact, he reaches out and snatches the stolen flute back. Holding the valuable item, the captain celebrates the absolute success of the ambush. The panel reveals that Impat's flute reduces the stats of wooden creatures by 50%. The pink-haired mage approaches, saying she found something else very interesting lying there. She hands a mysterious and aged piece of paper to the MC. The system announces that the letter has triggered a side story about an enemy tribe's counterattack. Examining the document closely, Ni Yan jokes that he can't read a thing since it's written in Elvish. The shield bearer and another teammate laugh, impressed by the completely unexpected surprise. Walking along the trail, the leader hands over the flute, announcing that the tank will be responsible for using it. The group continues on as the warrior puts on the armor, trusting his extra health against the Lord. Observing the friendly scene, the blonde partner praises how quickly the group's attitude toward the newbie changed. From the front, the captain leads the way through the dark woods with complete tranquility. Later, a huge wooden beast is hit by brutal ice spikes in the middle of the forest. The blonde at night charges furiously and cuts the monster in half with her magic spear. The creature turns to dust, crumbling lifelessly onto the dungeon's dusty floor. The system reveals a brand new bronze round shield that increases defense by an incredible 30%. The captain gives the equipment to the tank, asking only for the quest gems in exchange for all that loot. Satisfied with the quick deal, he knows that selling the other pieces will make him good money anyway. The pink-haired mage thanks the leader for his kindness and apologizes for him taking a loss on the split. Suddenly, the earth trembles violently as colossal roots burst through the stone floor, destroying everything. The thief nimbly retreats, telling everyone to pay close attention and form a heavy defensive formation. The fearsome level 4 Trent King emerges from the depths, exuding an intense and terrifying green aura. The cursed creature glares at the human invaders, promising to drag them straight to the depths of heck. Completely enraged, the wooden monster prepares a gigantic crushing blow against the ground. The leader leaps backward, narrowly escaping the devastating physical impact. Seeing the beast's fury, the knight is shocked, having never faced such a powerful lord before. The marksman yells for the tank to take the front line and soak up the damage immediately to save the team. The shield bearer charges forward, raising his new bronze shield to block the brutal assault. Analyzing the main target's absurd defense, the MC senses the danger and tells the mages to attack. Several colorful spells cut through the air in a lethal, coordinated volley against the large enemy. The heavy rain of magic strikes the monster's chest dead on, causing a large, brilliant impact. The magical explosion kicks up a dense cloud of smoke, dealing multiple hits to the king's extensive health bar. Thick dust fills the battlefield right after the fiery impact, but the monster bravely endures and charges forward, landing a violent blow against the front line. The tank feels the hit, losing 78 health points, as the leader tells him to use the flute. The warrior immediately plays the magical instrument, releasing a soft melody into the air. The spell weakens the creature on the spot, completely destroying all of the giant's bonus stats. The marksman notices the immediate advantage and orders the mages to focus only on strong fire attacks. His blonde friend agrees excitedly and concentrates the flames in his hands, guaranteeing this is his strong suit. As the battle rages, Nian approaches the young priestess, asking if she has the purification spell. The girl confirms, gripping her staff firmly, and he warns her about the boss's fearsome fear ability. Noticing her tension, the young man tells her to stay calm and promises to give the exact signal on when to use the healing spell. The Trent King lets out a demonic roar, emanating a terrifying energy throughout the entire combat area. The tank is hit head on by the enemy's fury, and the MC shouts for the healer to act fast. The priestess raises her luminous staff, immediately casting the curse, dispelling ability. The shield bearer is enveloped in a divine healing light, and the girl smiles, relieved to have successfully executed the plan. The wooden beast doesn't give up and launches a furious assault against the team as they try to back away. The monster lets out a deafening roar as its health bar drops to around 2,000 points. Focused on the change in pattern, Nian warns everyone to prepare for the boss's berserk phase. The leader Yulan is startled, realizing the enemy has indeed entered enraged mode, just as the captain predicted. Just then, the marksman tells the front line to switch to a defensive stance while he dodges the sharp roots. He also orders the priest to drink their mana potions and to not stop casting healing spells for anything. The rear guard promptly obeys, concentrating all their magical energy to keep the team alive in the confrontation. The tank takes the crushing impact of the vines, using his new shield to avoid being thrown back. Sweating from the pressure, the shield bearer realizes the damage is absurd and warns that he can't hold out for much longer. Fortunately, recovery spells hit the warrior, instantly restoring a large portion of his lost health. With renewed energy, the tank manages to stabilize his stance and block the next lethal impact without falling. He admits he would have been a goner if not for the precise support and the flute's weakening effect. Chugging a health vial, the young man finally understands why the leader forced them to spend money on potions. Completely out of control, the enormous wooden monster prepares one of its fastest and most devastating attacks. A gigantic pillar of roots comes crashing down violently against the ground, kicking up a lot of dust in the area. Dodging the debris, the captain yells for everyone to concentrate their fire and finish off the beast, which is almost down. Yulan charges forward, wielding her spear, and unleashes her best luminous abilities all at once to help with the damage. The coordinated magical attacks cut through the air, destroying the defensive branches of the immense cursed creature. Seizing the perfect opening, the MC dashes at high speed with his dagger ready for the final pounce. The Lord staggers backward, feeling the absurd weight of all the destructive power accumulated by the team. The thief quickly executes his special technique to guarantee the fatal critical hit on his adversary. The blade rips through the monster's exposed trunk, generating a green burst of light that seals the fate of the battle. The colossal body of the Trent King begins to crack, emitting an unstable energy from within. Unable to withstand the critical blow, the creature shatters into thousands of pieces of wood flying through the air. The dust settles in the center of the map as the guild members wonder, jaws agape, if they really just beat the challenge. Checha celebrates with relief, while another ally can't believe they survived such a deadly dungeon. The tank agrees, assuring them they never would have withstood the attacks, if not for the commander's precise orders. A golden glow surrounds several players on the team, and they cheer with joy, announcing they've just leveled up. Ignoring the party, Nian walks straight to the luminous aura left by the defeated boss's body. Holding a sparkling gem, he reflects that all this tiring work was worth it just to get this one small item. The system details that the coveted artifact reduces the user's weight, allowing for falls as gentle as a feather. The MC's body also glows intensely, confirming his massive experience gained from the match. He clenches his fists, proud to have reached level 3, as the system announces the team's victory with a massive bonus. The guild members are amazed to receive over 1,000 glory points from a single run. Upholding the initial agreement, the captain lets them divide the rest of the items and announces that the next step is to head back to the city. Yulan agrees, remembering the rewards from the side quest, and deeply thanks him for his invaluable help on the journey. The large group steps into the glowing teleportation portal to return safely to the central plaza. A strong light illuminates the bustling stone streets, marking the triumphant arrival of the entire team. The surrounding players are shocked, commenting on how it's possible that all those newbies leveled up together. Walking further behind, Chenbo grinds his teeth, swearing he'll never forget the humiliation he suffered in the forest. Paying no mind to the lackey's envy, the captain guides his allies to the grand gates of Carol's military barracks. The Empire's warlord receives them in the sunny courtyard, asking what the young adventurers have come to report. The MC hands over the documents, informing him that they eliminated the Dark Elves and uncovered plans about the enemy fortress. The experienced military commander is visibly impressed by the detailed report on the threats that were lurking in the region. Thanking them for their great service, the man rewards the players' group with silver coins, experience, and a skill book. Satisfied with the results of the turn-ins, Nian is thrilled to have secured extra strength points from that secret mission. The leader Yulan approaches, asking about his next steps now that their initial partnership is over. Being honest, he plans to hunt monsters to level up and use his new gem to try and take on an isolated elite beast. The knight says her goodbyes, promising to send his payment through the mail as soon as she sells all the loot the group acquired. As soon as they leave, Tang Yao runs up, begging for magic lessons, and the marksman agrees to help after they stop by a shop. The duo quickly walks through the commercial streets to the local blacksmith to spend the money from their recent victories. The MC puts on his new full set of bronze, level leather, and finds the extra stats to be excellent. Fully equipped for danger, he informs his mage partner that the practical lessons will begin on the way to the Reno Hills. The new region proves to be extremely dark, with lightning cutting across the sky above enormous, sharp stone peaks. Standing at the entrance of a dark cave, the thief challenges his friend to farm bat teeth alone for 1 hour. Not backing down from the test, his partner swiftly advances into the infested area to prove his combat talent. A huge winged monster emerges from the shadows, snarling aggressively toward the intruder. Tang Yao unleashes a barrage of flaming spells, annihilating the flying creature with great force. Super hyped about his own direct hit, the young man celebrates his first victory, showing off his precision to his master. Seeing his companion's energy, the marksman pulls out his weapon, declaring that he's not just going to stand around and watch either. The MC shoots off like a swift shadow, cutting through the cold air of the stone tunnels with absolute mastery. His dagger tears through the winged monsters in the air, ending the fight in a sequence of flawless and lethal acrobatics. Stashing the collected materials in his backpack, he realizes half an hour has passed and becomes curious about his allies' farming progress. Suddenly, his friend comes running in a panic, yelling for help as he's being chased by local player killers. The thief frowns, processing the technical information, and quickly deduces which cursed guild those criminals belong to. Dashing right past his desperate friend, the young man tells him to hide immediately in the safety of the deep, rocky tunnel. Huddled in the dense shadows, the mage explains he was ambushed by some losers who steal items while he was trying to hunt a level 3-leader monster. Maintaining a frightening calm, the captain tells his friend to distract them by running in circles while he prepares a painful surprise. The adventurer walks silently along the edges of the dark canyon, confirming that the targets have indeed blocked the main exit. Gathered in the stone passage, the enemy leader scoffs, guaranteeing that the kid with no good gear has no way to escape their encirclement. Hidden behind the jagged rocks, the marksman focuses on his offensive, remembering that taking down marked criminals makes them drop their entire inventory. He sizes up the main target, noting with extreme satisfaction that the enemy mage is wearing a coveted set of rare flame armor. Acknowledging that this gang is strong enough to corner adventurers, the MC activates his camouflage, not underestimating anyone. The activation of the stealth spell alerts one of the opposing group's members, who warns his own boss about the invisible danger approaching. Ignoring their short reaction time, Nian advances fiercely like a lethal shadow, heading straight for the clustered killers. The MC advances like a shadow toward his target, who readies his staff, guaranteeing he's been waiting for him for a long time. Confident in his own power, the mage questions if the kid has enough health to steal his items and conjures a violent ring of fire. Just then, one of the gang's warriors spots the intruder's movement and yells for his allies to take the punk down. Assessing the situation, the thief concludes that the sorcerer knows how to keep his distance and activates a speed scroll. The system notifies him of the enemy attack and confirms that self-defense mode will be active for 30 minutes. With his speed boosted, the young man ignores the flames and charges straight through the ring of fire. The mage panics upon seeing the maniac approaching even while taking damage and can't understand how he's so fast. Seizing the opening, the marksman executes the assassination skill and lands a solid hit on the leader. Pushed back, the sorcerer reacts immediately, launching an explosive burst of flames to defend himself. The MC leaps backward, dodging the blow, while the warrior informs his boss that the kid used a scroll. Giving no quarter, the allied swordsman charges forward, cutting through the air with a brutal fire attack. The blow hits the thief dead on, sending him flying backward and dealing considerable damage. To make matters worse, the team's priest joins the fray, cursing the newbie and conjuring a holy light. The luminous magic travels swiftly and hits the kid squarely before he even touches the ground. Maintaining focus during the fall, Nian calculates that the mage's fire burst takes exactly 5 seconds to cast and decides to act. Dashing like a lightning bolt, he interrupts the leader's magic with a sharp blow from the hilt of his dagger. The impact strikes the mage's face, canceling the skill's casting on the spot. Completely dazed, the sorcerer is stunned by the unexpected hit and loses his footing. Without mercy, the marksman follows up with a lethal sequence of rapid cuts, tearing into the defenseless enemy's chest. Desperate with pain, the target loses his composure and lets out a terrifying scream of panic. The thief continues his relentless slaughter as the sorcerer screams that he's going to perish and begs his team to stop him. Rushing to help, the warriors are frustrated that they can't keep up with the assassin's insane speed. Taking the initiative, one of the swordsmen activates his charge ability to try and close the distance. The brute slides swiftly across the stone floor, heading straight for the confrontation to save his boss. Noticing the dangerous approach, the MC leaps to the side, dodging the attack in a very agile move. Still in the air, the punk activates Vital Strike and delivers the final blow, driving his blade into the red-robed mage. The system immediately announces that taking down a criminal player grants prestige and exclusive advantages in the city's shops. With their boss down, the lackeys panic as they see the equipment drop and yell to recover the loot quickly. Agile as ever, the young man scoops up the glowing items from the ground, celebrating that he managed to steal the jerk's fire set. Furious at the audacious theft, the warrior attacks again, forcing the newbie to block the heavy impact with his blade. The goons don't give up the chase, stating they can't let him escape or they'll be in trouble with the gang later. Ignoring the threat, the MC flees at high speed, leaving his enemies eating dust in the dark mountains. Confident in his superior agility, he uses a combat bandage while running, knowing he'll never be caught. The team's priest notices the bold tactic and desperately warns that the target is regenerating his health. Seeing his health bar full again and his skills recharged, the kid's eyes turn to pure hatred. Changing his plan, he abruptly stops his escape, skidding to a halt in the middle of the dirt path. Spinning around with fire in his eyes, the marksman coldly announces that now it's their turn to suffer. Surprised by the sudden reversal, one of the warriors tries to halt his charge, kicking up a cloud of smoke from the ground. The thief dashes in the opposite direction, cracking the stones with the force of his push-off. Using Vital Strike without hesitation, he hits his adversary head-on, tearing through the air with a strong trail of light. The dark blade spins in the young man's hand, ready for the next target from the pathetic gang. He then activates Assassination, mercilessly driving his weapon straight into the back of the other shocked warrior. Trying to survive, the last goon tells the intruder to get lost and fires a red cutting spell from a distance. Passing through the attack unscathed, the thief pulls out his heavy crossbow and aims it directly at the desperate enemy's chest. A relentless volley of arrows hits the swordsman repeatedly, chipping away several chunks of his health. The target panics completely, realizing he's almost out of health and terrified of dropping his own equipment too. Taking advantage of the steep terrain, the newbie relentlessly slides down toward the coward. Appearing like a ghost, the thief asks menacingly from behind the guy if he really thought he could run. Overcome by absolute fear, the warrior screams, cursing his own luck as he realizes he's reached his limit. A swift, lethal cut slashes across the goon's back, and he collapses, taken out on the moonlit stones. Standing on the empty battlefield, the marksman faces the healer, cynically asking why he's the only coward left. The priest trembles, desperately trying to justify himself, claiming he's just a simple support and can't fight a brutal assassin. Behind the MC, a monstrous spiritual aura forms, displaying the young man's dark thirst for a fight. With a sadistic smile, he remarks sarcastically that the guy seemed to be having a lot of fun when he fired that holy light earlier. Soon, the healer's pure scream of agony echoes alone through the sinister darkness of the rocky canyon. The support's useless staff falls to the ground, confirming that the last member of the troublesome group has also been annihilated. Rummaging through his inventory, Nian analyzes the pieces of red leather that grant several excellent bonuses to damage and magic defense. Satisfied with the profit, he deduces that the bronze armor is perfect for his blonde friend and decides to sell the rest of the loot later. Over the system's radio, his frightened partner relays his exact coordinates, saying he's trapped in a cave full of monsters. To cheer his friend up, the MC sends him images of the luxurious armor, proving that crime finally paid off. Recognizing the absurdly good items, Tang Yao is shocked to see the coveted fire set and asks where his friend got it all. The kid is amazed to confirm that his partner took down a dangerous player and confesses he never doubted the plan. Laughing out loud with joy, the blonde says the revenge was so satisfying that he doesn't even care if he perishes in that isolated hole today. On the other side of the mountains, the thief calmly stows the equipment after the long and dangerous night-time battle. Staring at the chilly horizon, the young man tells his friend over the radio to hang on just a little longer because he's going to hunt down the rest of the loose gang members. Further down in the dark forest, a large group of members from the same guild receives the tragic news that their boss has just perished. One of the newbie warriors is in disbelief, stating that the leader was a high level and had magic too powerful to be defeated so easily. The squad immediately questions if the valuable equipment dropped and begins to suspect that a rival guild has declared all-out war on them. However, the informant reveals that the entire massacre of the leader and his 3 goons was caused by a single solo thief. Shocked and breaking into a cold sweat, a guy in a bandana can't believe their invincible boss was crushed by a level 3 newbie. Completely freaking out, he tears at his hair, screaming in despair and asking if the game world has gone completely insane for something like this to happen. The dark commander of that squad confirms the humiliating story and reveals that the cursed assassin's name is Nirvana Flame. Aware of the target's extreme danger, the captain announces they've placed a large bounty on the marksman's head with cautious orders. Perfectly hidden among the trees, Ni Yan overhears everything and finds it interesting that the losers are offering 5 coins for his head. Activating his stealth magic, the MC calls the gang idiots and swears he'll show them the true fury of a solo thief. Lying in wait in the forest, one of the guild members hears a strange noise and immediately suspects it might be the thief. However, what bursts through the bushes is a gigantic horned stag leader. The guy in the red bandana declares that since they can't find their targets, they might as well take down this leader monster first. Hidden in the shadows, Nian cracks a sadistic smile, realizing his golden opportunity has finally arrived. The squad advances on the beast, and their leader tells them to finish it quickly so they can split the profit. With his shield in hand, the warrior in the bandana braces for impact. Holding back the stag's heavy charge, he desperately yells for the team to attack now. Taking advantage of the containment, the allied swordsmen deliver swift cuts to the monster's flank. The creature suffers multiple critical hits and starts losing a lot of health under the coordinated assault. Further back, the team's mages confidently guarantee they'll annihilate the beast in less than a minute, but they don't notice the MC stealthily dropping from the trees right behind them. Without wasting a second, the marksman brutally drives his dagger into the distracted sorcerer's back. The target screams in pure agony as his health is instantly drained by the surprise attack. Immediately after, Nian spins his body and slits the other partner's throat with a clean cut. Terrified by his colleague's swift demise, the last healer pulls out a potion, warning about the ambush. Hearing the desperation from the rear, the guy in the red bandana instantly deduces that the cursed thief has found them. Under pressure, One of the warriors asks what to do, since they're surrounded and the monster is still focused on them. The leader orders the team to focus all their damage on the stag first, and then deal with the assassin. Following the order, one of the brutes leaps into the air, delivering an aerial attack. The giant sword's blow slashes across the animal's back, dealing heavy damage. Unable to resist, the creature lets out an agonizing roar before collapsing lifelessly. The 3 surviving fighters breathe heavily beside the boss's carcass. Watching it all from nearby, Nian calmly laments that he arrived a little too late. Just then, the 3 enemy warriors retreat and assume a tight defensive formation. The MC calculates that even with their low health, facing 3 swordsmen at once is too risky. Trembling with rage, the gang's leader reports that the newbie has already taken down 5 of them and warns that reinforcements are on the way. Looking bored, the thief asks if they don't have the guts for a 3-1-1, threatening to just leave. But the enemy states he won't fall for the trick of splitting up and guarantees that together, they are completely safe. The young man immediately realizes their bravery is just a front to buy time until the cavalry arrives. Uninterested in a drawn-out fight, Nian gives a sarcastic wave, promising to play with them another time. Seeing the assassin turn his back, one of the warriors desperately warns that the kid is getting away and tells them to stop him. The squad leader is completely frozen, not knowing how to act in this humiliating situation. Confused by the target's speed, the goon asks where the punk disappeared to so quickly. Regaining his senses, the commander roars with hatred, ordering them to begin an immediate pursuit. Staring at the stealth tracks on the green ground, he swears he won't let the fiend get away with this. However, the newbie is already running at high speed, camouflaged by the shadows of the dense forest. Very confident, the young man knows that no player knows this map better than him, and decides to go find his blonde friend. In another part of the region, Tang Yao walks anxiously around the rocky outskirts of a dark cave. The MC appears out of nowhere, deactivating his camouflage and startling his partner, who doesn't understand how he got there. Nian explains that the enemies will never look for them in this spider lair and tells his friend to equip the stolen armor. His partner celebrates loudly that the criminal leader dropped the item and marvels at the rare piece in his hands. Now wearing the imposing fire set, Tang Yao is shocked by the massive boost to his own magic damage. The thief tells his companion to follow him deeper into the cave, confident that they now have enough strength for the challenge. Running through the dark tunnels, the mage asks what the plan is, and the marksman reveals the silver chest hidden in the area. Reaching the intersection, the MC pulls out his tool and begins the delicate process of picking the lock. A rock spider tries to attack from behind, but Tang Yao reacts quickly, focusing on the creature. With his hands glowing intensely, the mage summons the supreme power of his arcane flame. A gigantic fiery blast tears through the cave's darkness toward the target. The spell hits the monster dead on, dealing massive critical damage and eliminating the threat in a single hit. Staring at his own hands, the blonde partner is astonished by the lethal power of his new magical suit. Further ahead, the MC drives his dagger into another spider's skull using his assassination skill. Hyped by his own strength, his companion runs toward his friend, providing support. The duo clears the hallway with ease, and Nian praises the fact that his partner can handle high-level beasts with no problem. Keeping up the fast pace, the captain tells his ally to pick up the speed through the rocky tunnels. A shower of fireballs illuminates the cave as Tang Yao decimates the remaining enemies along the way. Finally reaching the central area, they spot the untouched, luminous chest glowing at the bottom of the pit. The sorcerer is amazed by the reward, questioning what kind of divine treasure could be hidden inside. Being realistic, the marksman explains that this game was designed with a very cruel difficulty level. He details that to open such grand rewards, the hidden guardians are always a nightmare. Confirming his theory, a colossal and terrifying rock spider leader suddenly appears, snarling at the invaders. Tang Yao's eyes widen in pure desperation as he recognizes the fearsome boss of this map. The sorcerer asks how they're going to deal with the lord, but the thief calmly states that they're just going to take it down. The newbie dashes forward and tells his friend to keep a 20-meter distance and head for the narrowest tunnel. Understanding that the strategy is to avoid attracting more monsters, the blonde immediately runs to the designated position. Reaching a safe distance, the mage quickly turns and prepares his powerful arcane fireball. The fiery attack explodes right in the boss monster's face, dealing excellent damage. Watching the hit, Nian gives a confident smile, confirming that its weakness to fire guarantees them the victory. The MC announces he'll handle crowd control while his friend's job is to focus entirely on damaging the creature. Charging forward quickly, the thief lands a clean hit that stuns the monster and deals some good initial damage. He yells for his partner to take advantage of the perfect opening, while the beast tries to recover from the impact. Without hesitation, the mage launches his arcane fireball, which explodes right on target. The marksman quickly warns that the monster is awake and the danger is now real. The enormous spider leaps furiously, trying to crush the young man with all its weight. With quick reflexes, he dodges the crushing attack but still takes considerable damage from the impact on the ground. Using a bandage to heal, the young man notices the beast has gone berserk and tells his friend to retreat without stopping to avoid the spikes. Tang Yao nervously agrees, seeing the creature's relentless fury. Just then, a large rock pillar erupts from the ground, and the sorcerer breathes a sigh of relief, thankful for the warning that saved his life. The thief reinforces that their success depends entirely on his partner's attack power, and goes back to distracting the beast. Quickly chugging a vial, the mage asks for a moment to recover his magical energy. With his bar full again, the kid concentrates his flaming spell, vowing to annihilate the monster. An intense explosion engulfs the giant spider, illuminating the entire dark cave. Seizing the perfect opening, the MC finishes the job by driving a brutal vital strike into the enemy. The sharp blade pierces the creature, dealing an absurd amount of critical damage that seals the end of the fight. Seeing the monster fall lifelessly, the mage asks, out of breath, if the nightmare is finally over. Collapsing to the ground from sheer exhaustion, he celebrates that they took down such a strong boss and jokes that he never thought he was so talented. A strong light envelopes the marksman's body, confirming he's just leveled up after the big kill. The loot dropped by the creature reveals powerful magic skill books and a rare silver key. The MC hands over one of the books, stating that his friend hit the jackpot by getting an unbeatable area of effect spell for farming experience. The kid is amazed by the news, even after hearing that the spell still loses to the game's holy or draconic classes. Curious about the unfamiliar terms, he asks what they are, but his partner just brushes it off, saying the future will tell. Changing the subject, the young man focuses on the dark hole in the cave, announcing it's time to get the real treasure. He approaches the ornate silver chest and inserts the rare key directly into the heavy lock. The mechanism unlocks, emitting a strong magical glow as the duo eagerly awaits their reward. The system announces the use of the key, and the thief is completely stunned as he stares at the glittering item. The loot is a special web ring that works as a perfect tool for climbing and jumping over large obstacles on the map. Finding the jewel rather ordinary, the mage doesn't understand the absurd excitement, but he's told it's practically a legendary item for a mobility-focused class. The marksman then asks if his partner has learned the new spell yet, and the blonde confirms immediately, wondering why he's asking. A gigantic horde of smaller spiders emerges from the tunnels, and the captain declares it's the perfect time to test out the new power. He announces he'll pull the beasts and tells the sorcerer to start casting immediately. The monsters come crawling furiously from the rocks toward the two invaders. Frightened by the number of targets, Tang Yao breaks into a cold sweat, complaining about the absurdly long cast time. Finally, with the spell ready, he raises his arms, unleashing the true destructive power of the flames. A colossal pillar of fire engulfs the entire corridor, turning the entire horde to ash in the blink of an eye. Leaping back agilely to escape the heat, the thief praises their excellent teamwork. The mage himself is amazed, looking at the destruction, unable to believe he conjured something so overpowered. Without wasting time, the marksman gets his distracted partner's attention, ordering them to keep moving through the cave. Scratching his head, the completely drained blonde says he's used all his mana and is out of potions. The MC regrets the mistake, remembering the high cost of the spell, but he knows the most important item in the game is hidden right here. To avoid getting in the way, the mage suggests heading back to a safe zone, and his partner agrees, offering to teach him a few more techniques on the way. The duo leaves the high-risk area, walking calmly under the light rain outside. Once safe, Tang Yao pulls out an escape scroll and expresses his deep gratitude for escaping the ambush much stronger than before. The thief just gives a slight smile, stating that that's what brothers are for. With his friend gone, the young man is alone again under the gloomy, rainy weather of the dark map. Focused on his solo objective, he turns his back on the light and enters the damp cave with firm steps. His memory recalls that deep within the cave lies a page from the legendary Chapter of Order, an item capable of dictating the laws of the continent. Ancient legends guarantee that the player who gathers all the volumes will become the supreme ruler and the great pope of the temples of light. On the other hand, whoever collects the pieces of the Chapter of Chaos will inherit incalculable destructive power and reign absolute as the Demon King. The newbie knows all too well that this is the biggest opportunity the game can offer right at the beginning. He recalls that this ancient story was practically erased after the fall of the empires, leaving only forgotten fragments behind. Even so, the fragments grant so much power that any lucky adventurer who finds one soon dominates the top of the rankings. In his past life, he witnessed a guild leader summon holy knights to annihilate 100 enemies single-handedly, thanks to this book. Another legendary player named Sage Assassin used the Fragment of Wisdom to conjure gigantic spells, changing the course of wars. There was also Swift Fox, who used the Volume of Courage to crush enemy troops alone, becoming a true nightmare on the battlefield. Diving into the dark depths, the MC feels his blood boil with excitement, knowing that the fragment of courage awaits him here. Landing lightly, the young man sneaks between the rocks as he hears the distant sound of running water. 3 stone leaders completely block the passage, forcing the thief to activate his stealth to advance safely. Without making a sound, he uses his special pearl and dives straight into the cave's subterranean waters. Swimming through the frigid waters, he searches for a legendary chest that caused a massive stir in his past life because it took so long to be found. Spotting the luxurious object at the bottom, the adventurer is fascinated to confirm that it's a gold-level rarity. The pirate emblem carved on the lid indicates an absurd antiquity, making the find even more valuable and promising for the newbie. The compartment opens, releasing an intense red aura as it reveals the fearsome dagger of the assassin's precept. Wielding the new weapon, he deduces from its lethal aura that the trip was already worth it, even if he doesn't find the sacred book. With the loot secured, the thief swims swiftly toward the beam of light marking the exit of the submerged tunnel. Breaking the surface with force, the kid breathes a sigh of relief as he emerges into a mystical scene filled with green vegetation. Walking along the banks, he's amazed by the vibrant and peaceful ecosystem hidden in the heart of this dark map. The adventurer soon locates an ancient circular ruin, with an isolated altar glowing in the center of the clearing. As he approaches the stone pedestal, the legendary tome rises into the air, transferring an overwhelming energy into the intruder's body. The system details that the relic tells the story of the Dark Era, written in 3 forgotten languages, and embeds this knowledge into his mind. The young man instantly assimilates several ancient languages and receives the complete index of the Lost Chronicle. Holding the reddish tome, the MC reads the absurd passive bonuses that will permanently boost his attributes with each advancement. Shocked by the advantage, he finally understands how the Lord from the past managed to slaughter hundreds of enemies without the slightest effort. Satisfied, the kid stows the fragment, promising to be extra careful, as the item will drop if he perishes before fusing all 6 volumes. Surveying the area, Nian finds it very strange to get a legendary item without the system sending a powerful guardian to defend it. But the calm is short-lived, as the rocky ground suddenly begins to crack violently beneath his feet. It's clear that taking the fragment alerted the boss, and to make matters worse, the water route has been completely blocked by rocks. With no way out, the marksman runs up the mountain, knowing he needs to be very fast if he wants to survive. Seizing the moment, he uses the ability of his new web ring. A sturdy magic thread attaches firmly to the top of the steep cliff. With a perfect leap, the kid swings through the air and manages to cross the giant chasm in complete safety. Behind him, a brutal explosion completely shatters the path he just left. From the flames emerges a giant winged demonic creature, leading the newbie to deduce that this is the true guardian of the book. To confirm the danger, the MC activates his transcendent vision without stopping his run. The panel reveals it's the Guardian of Order, a colossal level 100 monster with an absurd amount of health. The enraged beast wastes no time and launches a shower of flaming meteors toward the invader. Knowing that any hit means instant lights out, the thief flees in desperation, swearing he needs to get back to the city urgently. Far away, Link City is in a total panic, with players wondering what in the world is happening. A regional alert appears in the system, ordering an immediate evacuation due to the approach of a draconic creature. In the military courtyard, the elite guard of the Holy Crusaders quickly assembles, clad in heavy armor. Players watch the NPCs march together, completely confused by the sudden event in the middle of the map. While fleeing through the forest, the MC looks up and is shocked to realize he's been spotted by the flying beast. Tearing a speed scroll, the marksman becomes a blue blur cutting through the dark woods. An overwhelming energy attack rips through the scenery, destroying the entire area where he was seconds before. Sliding across the flaming ground, the newbie tries to stay focused, telling himself to just hold on a little longer until he loses the monster. Using the magic ring again, he fires a well-aimed web at the trunk of a giant tree. The momentum launches the kid's body through the air, ensuring an agile and perfect escape from the lethal explosions. The frantic chase finally reaches the peaceful outskirts of the walled city. Facing the large barrier, the MC breathes a sigh of relief to see that the Imperial soldiers are already taking action. The flaming creature flies over the area and lets out a deafening roar of pure fury against the walls. From the top of the walls, Lord Nysod commands the Crusaders and orders the defensive line to prepare for war. The Lord firmly announces they will make that foolish dragon face a holy judgment. In the sky, the boss prepares its ultimate magic and summons the fearsome scalding meteor. An apocalyptic shower of flames rains down on the city, leaving the adventurers terrified of the imminent impact. The city's alarm blares, warning of the catastrophic invasion, and despair grips the crowd as they anticipate their own demise. The Lord raises his glowing staff and commands the immediate activation of the central protective barrier. A gigantic, purplish spherical shield completely covers the entire fortress, blocking the sky. The meters collide violently against the dome, and the residents take a deep breath, thankful to be alive. Without missing a beat, the commander points his sword to the sky and orders the archers to fire with full force. A huge, massive ice spear is launched from the base, crossing the bright skies like a cutting bolt of lightning. The projectile freezes the winds, creating a truly overwhelming tornado that engulfs the flying target. The magic hits the beast square in the chest, dealing heavy damage, as the soldiers shout for the glory of the Crusaders. The demonic creature can't withstand the accumulated pressure and lets out a terrible cry of agony. Trying to retaliate at all costs, the monster uses a sharp trident that shatters the top of the village's magic shield. Watching the chaos from a distance, the MC notices several greedy guilds waiting for the Lord to fall so they can steal the loot. He recognizes some big shots from the past in the plaza, including Radiant Star, the leader of the Radiant Temple Guild. Further ahead is Drawn Sword, the feared commander of Dark Massacre, known for being a real piece of work. The newbie remembers all too well having to deal with this arrogant guy many times in his previous life. The loyal leader taunts his rival, guaranteeing he's already hit level 6, and that he'll never be able to surpass his team's strength. Drawn Sword just scoffs, claiming the point difference is minimal, while his lackey suggests annihilating their adversaries right then and there. Far from the political squabble, the marksman leaps between rooftops, following the epic battle raging in the dark sky. A brutal sequence of giant ice spikes continues to punish the Guardian, giving it no chance to recover. The terrifying Lord is completely suppressed and immobilized by dozens of celestial spells coming from the plaza's ground. Nisod wields a glowing arrow, guaranteeing that the profane creature will now face its final judgment. The general fires his special maximum piercing technique, which tears through the air at an impressive speed. The blue beam hits the monster squarely in midair, causing a luminous explosion throughout the fortress. The colossal beast's health bar finally hits 0, and the system confirms the bloody fall of the invincible boss. Seeing the golden equipment drop, the two rival leaders instantly realize their golden opportunity. Immediately, they both order their troops to fall back and dash with all their might to grab the item in the middle of the plaza. Not missing his chance, the thief summons his camouflage, becoming an invisible shadow on the rooftops. Drawn Sword leaps, extending his arm and guaranteeing that the prize from that flying monster belongs only to him. The lackeys from the other guild curse in anger, realizing they won't be able to steal the treasure in time. The team's marksman yells at the top of his lungs, telling them to stop that flying opportunist urgently. With an agile move, the Radiant Temple leader throws a magic whip to halt his enemy's advance. Radiant Star soars eagerly through the air, declaring an early victory over the coveted relic. However, his rival uses absurd strength to return the magic, pinning his partner with gravity without difficulty. While the two big shots fight in the air, an invisible hand cuts through the space and grabs the sparkling crown before they can. The leaders land in shock, seeing the shadow of a brazen thief retreating with the valuable loot. The newbie reveals his face with a smirk, concluding that they are unfortunately out of free items. Absolutely furious at the audacious theft, Drawn Sword curses at the meddler, completely losing his cool. Landing with style and elegance, the loyal leader doesn't take his eyes off the kid's flawless movement. To everyone's surprise, he shows sympathy and thanks the intruder, calling him brother, as if they were allies. Turning his back without a care, the marksman laments that he didn't get anything useful from it, and announces he's leaving. The commander of Dark Massacre casts a dark glare, guaranteeing that the kid is mistaken if he thinks he's getting out of here alive. The brutes from the criminal guild quickly advance, blocking the path with their weapons raised. Without a hint of fear, the MC faces the threat with boredom, questioning how they plan to force him to stay. The temple leader approaches the young man and firmly states that the stranger is his old friend. He warns that if the rival guild is looking to cause trouble, they'll have to get his entire team's consent first. Thirsting for a fight, the jerk accepts the provocation and swears that today, no one is leaving that plaza alive. With a laugh, Radiant Star notes that it seems there's absolutely nothing left for them to do there. A goon informs Sleepy Fox that the thief is the expert Nirvana Flame, the same one who sold them the dungeon guide. Intrigued by the information, the blonde leader acknowledges that the punk's skill in stealing the item proves he's truly incredible. On the other side, Drawn Sword's subordinate asks, completely lost, what they should do in this complicated situation. Taking the lead, Sleepy Fox amicably invites the MC to explore the Ugmat Swamp dungeon with his guild. This sudden and friendly proposal catches Drawn Sword completely by surprise. Radiant Star is also very intrigued by the unexpected invitation coming directly from the rival leader. The tension thickens as members of the other guilds mistakenly assume the newbie is part of the blonde commander's group. Intimidated, the marksman accepts the invitation on the spot but demands one condition. He gets priority on all thief equipment that drops. The crowd is shocked by the kid's audacity to impose such absurd rules on a respected leader in such a tense moment. The shatty lackey points out that the punk is pushing his luck with all that arrogance, especially after being saved from the mess. Sleepy Fox agrees that the kid is bold but states that those who speak with such confidence usually have a lot of skill. Without losing his good humor, the commander accepts the condition, guaranteeing priority on the items if the newbie really joins the raid. The peaceful decision leaves all the warriors dumbfounded, unable to understand how a big shot accepted a stranger's terms. Cornered, the criminal gang realizes the situation has turned sour and admits it's impossible to fight against two gigantic guilds. Taking advantage of the situation, the blonde asks Drawn Sword for a favor and tells him to just drop it so they can end the conflict. Swallowing his pride in complete frustration, the dark leader gives in to the pressure and decides to let the theft slide. Deeply annoyed by the diplomatic defeat, he turns his back and orders his entire guild to leave immediately. Soon, Radiant Star approaches, surprised by the alliance with the rival group, but the MC assures him he's overthinking it. The blonde commander sarcastically asks about the loot, and the blue-haired sorcerer laments that the piece is practically junk. The panel reveals it's a gold-level chest plate, but it requires an absurd 100 points to equip successfully. The mage leader sighs, explaining that the current level of all players makes it completely impossible to sell or use the item. Ignoring the rival's frustration, Sleepy Fox focuses on the newbie, celebrating their future hunt, and receives a sincere thank you for the help. Excited about the partnership, the blonde suggests they add each other in the system, while Radiant Star seizes the chance to invite him as well. The marksman accepts the requests, finding it ironic that he ended up making friends with the game's biggest shots so early on. With the situation completely resolved, the kid informs his new allies that he has to go and calmly bids the duo farewell. Walking along the peaceful city sidewalks, he feels a great sense of relief to finally have free time to appraise his new dagger. Using his brilliant magical appraisal skill, he perfectly unlocks the mysterious equipment's hidden stats. Utterly amazed by the discovery, the adventurer realizes it's a secondary blade that offers an insane damage bonus. Very satisfied with his initial progress, the MC continues his journey, passing through the immense gates of the bustling Telak city. Stepping through the large teleportation pillar, the young man decides to use the last half hour of game time to finish the doctor's quest. His destination drops him directly into the gloomy Fishman village, a scene now completely dominated by chaos and thick smoke. Staring at the burning houses, the thief concludes that the rival guild acted super fast and has already wiped the entire settlement off the map. Observing the adventurers exploring the rubble, he cleverly deduces that these solo players have been collecting the fine silks there. With no time to hunt and focused on speed, the MC negotiates for the pieces directly with the allies in exchange for a few coins. Immediately after, he travels swiftly to the green shores of the peaceful lake, Hard Island under a sunny sky. Approaching the old fisherman, the newbie gets his attention, and the elderly man politely asks how the long task went. The kid extends a glowing hand and delivers the 90 units required for the quest, hoping the fabrics will be very useful. The doctor is overjoyed with the perfect delivery and gratefully announces that he can now finally return to the fortress. Radiating an impressive divine energy, the old man thanks the adventurer for his kindness and swears that the holy light will purify the continent. As proof of his immense gratitude, the doctor blesses him with a massive experience reward that floods the young man's body. Opening his inventory, the young man is stunned to find that the old man a pair of very expensive gold boots as a final gift. Just then, a global announcement appears on the screen, communicating that the servers will be shutting down, and he sees that his experience bar is almost full. Very satisfied, the thief regrets the lack of time but calmly accepts leaving level 5 for the next day. With the clear conscience of having crushed the initial competition, the player's body turns to digital dust as he heads back to the real world. Waking up in his silent room, the young man slowly removes the heavy virtual immersion gear from his tired head. Sitting on his bed in the dim light, he reflects on everything he managed to achieve in just 2 intense days of focused gaming. Determined to change his tragic fate, the young man begins a series of sit-ups, ensuring he needs to develop his physical body as well. Working up a sweat and pushing his muscles to the limit, the marksman swears to himself that he won't falter for a single second in this new life. Upping the difficulty of his training, he performs push-ups supported only by his hands while thinking about the limits of his own strength. Finishing his exercises by lifting weights, the kid decides that finding a martial arts center is the best way to measure his capabilities. The day breaks, and he arrives at the imposing and sophisticated glass facade of the famous Lin family sports complex. Walking through the luxurious lobby, the young man buys a 2-hour pass when a surprised female voice calls his name. It's his arrogant ex-classmate, who approaches, accusing him of stalking her after she rejected him in the past. Staring at the kid's back, the preppy girl scoffs, deducing that his bankrupt family makes him a total loser in life. Her jock boyfriend appears out of nowhere, disgustedly asking who the scrawny weirdo running around near them is. She replies curtly that he's just a pathetic classmate, but one who, curiously, has decent grades. Completely oblivious to the couple's petty gossip, the MC positions himself in front of the gigantic technological tensile strength testing machine. Concentrating all his energy, the kid yanks the metal handle with an impressive burst of aggression that cuts through the air. The electronic panel beeps loudly, revealing the incredible mark of 162 kilograms registered on the super modern equipment. The young man analyzes his own panting hand, finding the mark pathetic compared to his past life, but reasonable for his current body. Satisfied with the first test number, the young man calmly walks toward the simulator focused on weight, bearing capacity. Applying all his strength to the metal base, the kid lifts an incredible 155 kilograms, creating a loud bang in the hall. Far away, the boyfriend notices the girl is distracted and asks with a very arrogant smile, "What's so interesting on the other side?" The big guy scoffs, calling the kid a scrawny little monkey, guaranteeing there's nothing interesting to look at in that direction. However, the mood in the place changes drastically when the MC smashes the impact testing surface with a completely devastating punch. The violent boom reverberates through the structures, drawing the attention of absolutely every paralyzed member of the sports complex. Faced with the insane impact caused by such a slim kid, the jock boyfriend's jaw drops, unable to process the absurd scene. The preppy girl also goes into a state of pure shock at the brutal and relentless display of strength from her former rejected suitor. Maintaining an unshakable calm, the young man relaxes his posture from the blow as if that great effort was absolutely nothing. Finished with his intense session of self-discovery, he passes by the illuminated reception, casually wiping the sweat from his face. Changing her tune, the ex-classmate hands him an envelope, stating with complete awe that he just broke the gym's local record. Surprised by the reward, the young man accepts the card and the 26,000, grateful for the completely unexpected extra cash from his workout. Mesmerized by the new muscular hunk, the young woman blushes with embarrassment and softly invites him for some free drinks at a bar. Without a second's hesitation, the MC cuts through the gold digger's fakeness, shutting her down with pure coldness before turning his back for good. Completely ignoring the gold digger's call, the MC just keeps walking away. Furious at being ignored, the preppy girl crosses her arms, cursing the kid for being poor and assuring herself she would never waste time on him anyway. After that, the marksman visits a city mall to buy supplements, relieved to have secured the month's rent and expenses. With a state-of-the-art virtual helmet in hand, he decides it's time to head home and focus on leveling up. The digital scenery quickly materializes, and the adventurer reappears in the game's open fields under a sunny sky. Since he already got the Featherfall gem, Nian declares that his goal now is to hit level 4 and hunt the fearsome lion King Kato. Without wasting time, the thief uses his stealth and massacres several water spiders until he's finally bathed in the light of a new level. Using a return scroll, he calculates that taking down that elite boss will guarantee level 5, but he needs to prepare well. The teleport is successful, and the young man reappears in the middle of the bustling streets of the Empire's capital. During his walk through the commercial district, the kid arrives at the large and busy city auction house. Analyzing the market, he remembers that the opening of the fearsome So's Valley is near, and that the major guilds will be rushing there. Because of the werewolf's deadly claws, the newbie deduces that the price of antidote potions will quintuple overnight. At a common vendor's counter, the thief asks for 5 full quivers of poisoned arrows for his stock. Immediately after, he demands the entire stock of black phenol potions and their recipes, leaving the merchant shocked by the order. Satisfied with the transaction, the MC collects the items, knowing very well he'll soon make a real fortune on the market. With the profit stored in his inventory, the adventurer uses the fast travel system and heads straight for the small Moto village. The young man crosses the quiet streets and classic buildings, completely focused on his next big challenge. Leaving the safety of the walls behind, the marksman dashes through the green fields like a lightning bolt. Thanks to his accumulated agility, he cuts through the low vegetation with firm and very fast strides. The long run takes him straight to the dangerous Crimson Dream Hills, where a giant abyss opens up on the horizon under the sun. Scouting the hunting area, the marksman finally spots the imposing level 7 Lion King and notes that the beast radiates an absurd strength. In search of a tactical advantage, the MC scales a giant rock wall and declares he's found the perfect spot for the attack. Without a second thought, he leaps backward into the deadly abyss and activates his coveted gem to make his body as light as a feather. Taking advantage of the slow and safe fall, the thief extends his hand and triggers the special power of his new spider web ring. As he swings toward a hidden branch on the cliff face, the newbie pulls out his heavy crossbow, certain he's about to exploit an impenetrable map glitch.